All right. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Gabriella. I am the conference director for iGX, which is the premier event for iGaming operators and casinos in Europe, focusing on acquisition, retention, and engagement of their customers. It's taking place June 17th and 18th at the Hilton Scion Park in Richmond, UK. I'm here with Steve Cyr, one of the Vegas super hosts and one of the premier Vegas super hosts, actually, who's going to be giving a keynote speech at our event. Steve is very well known in the Vegas circle and is been around all those events, but this is actually one of your first times coming to a UK event, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think our audience knows that much about you. So can you give us a little intro to yourself and your experience?
Well, first of all, thank you for that intro. I've had a really cool career and I still love it. I moved to town. I grew up in Kansas. I've only lived two places in my life, Salina, Kansas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And I came out and was supposed to go to UNLV and get my hotel degree and go back and run one of my dad's Howard Johnson motels. Thank goodness that didn't happen. And just think how the evolution has changed. I remember when I called my mother, Gabrielle, to say, I'm going to cancel that Marriott training program. I'm going to try to be a casino host when I graduate. And my mother was real conservative. She was like, damn it, Stephen. She goes, young man, the only other place you can get a job is New Jersey, and you hate the cold. Well, Mom, the only place I can't work now is Utah and Hawaii. In our country, the United States, gaming is not a sin anymore. It's everywhere, right? I mean, my parents used to get off the plane. What they do at McCarran Airport, they'd play the slot machines. Now they play slots in Wichita. So gaming has exploded, and I've been real fortunate to ride that wave. I now rep casinos. I've repped the Hippodrome in London before. I send players to the Bahamar in the Bahamas. I send players to Viejas. I'm like a travel agent for big gamblers. Usually, a minimum threshold is 25,000. When I say that, that means that's what they'll risk on a trip. They bet 1% of that, 250 for 4 hours a day. Um, Unlike iGaming, I really know my customers. Number one, if a host says, I've got 2,000 players, no, you don't. I've been doing this 38 years, actually 40, but 38 doesn't make me sound so old. And so I try to pair players with the right property. Dad
Hmm.
wants to gamble and play golf, but he's got to bring the kids, and mom doesn't really like to gamble. Well, let's go to the Viejas in California. The kids can go to SeaWorld. I'll set all that up, and dad can play golf and play blackjack. You know what?
Hmm.
Mom and the
Hmm.
girls want to come for a bachelorette party. Well, then we're going to Vegas, and I'm putting you at the Cosmo. And I've got a lot of female players now. When I started, I could count them on one hand. Now about 40% of my high roller slash whales are females. So that's kind of cool. You've got the bachelor party, and they want to come. Oh my God! Then we're going to stay probably at the Bellagio, so you can play, or we'll go to the Wynn, so you can play golf. And I'll put up a golf package for them, and then they gamble, and I'll get them a private crap table, but they each have to put up $15,000. So I really like that whole minutia of it and how the industry has grown. Now I've had to grow too. Okay, I'm what's called a junket rep. Terrible name, but that means I'm licensed in several jurisdictions. So I went through that exam, which is not fun, in 1999. And so I earn off the theoretical action in this jurisdiction. So if you win, you bet more, you play longer, I earn more. I get 16% of that theoretical loss. In other jurisdictions like California, I get percentage of loss, which is higher, or theoretical. So if you're a card counter, I'm not sending you to the Viejas in California because I'm not going to earn any money. So I've also got a team that really weeds out the guys that are just looking for deals. I think that what gives me an advantage in my little group of merrymen over others. We really know the players, we know the financials. I don't want to burn people out. I don't want them to over exceed. A third of my customers are so rich, Gabrielle, it doesn't matter. The other third should not
Hmm.
be here. Now they're the funnest, but they shouldn't be here. And I'm going to lose them eventually because they're broke, they're sick of gambling, or they're sick of Steve. The last one doesn't happen often, but it happens. Then you've
Hmm.
got
Hmm.
the other third, which they're young. As their age, wealth increases, their gaming increases. Young people now, man, I got a lot of guys 25 to 35, and they're earning, but They don't want to go to Hawaii or on a cruise. They want to go gamble and
Mhm.
take a shot in Vegas. And so
Mhm.
I'm their guy.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, you've also been called one of the most successful casino hosts in Vegas. You're featured in this amazing book, Whale Hut in the Desert.
Thank you.
So, I think with our guys, they're focused on acquisition, retention, and player lifetime value and how to update that, how to emulate the success of Vegas. What can they take from Vegas? Why is your perspective especially relevant for them? And what are you going to share a little bit with them at IGX?
I've met a lot of executives and vice presidents that are in online gaming, whether it be poker, sports, or iGaming. And I think the perspective is I've actually argued with a few where they say, Steve, we know our players. And I said, well, explain that to me. And they're like, well, I know that the guy every other Wednesday deposits $500, so he probably gets paid every other Wednesday. I know that he loves $10 blackjack, and 80% of all of his play is blackjack, and the other 20% is sports. And I know when he bets sports, 80% of every bet is on Liverpool, whoever. And so I said, but you know what? Then I would run a skybox and take that guy to Liverpool as a perk, and then he feels obligated to me. I go, I can get guys to leave. I rep Win, which is one of the most gorgeous places. I also rep a place called Ellis Island. It's a small pub casino. I get players to leave Win and come to the pub casino because they're loyal to me. And that's the difference. Now, I'm just one host. And again, I have a few hundred players at that level. But also, then you market with junket reps. There are 700 casino hosts in Vegas. The Cosmopolitan has 44. There's another 400 licensed junket reps. I mean, it's so I do what's called meat market parties. I do them every quarter. Meet for meeting, market for marketeers. We're not going to strip clubs. I know that's why you're thinking here, meat market. But and I'm not a librarian, by the way. You got to be able to hang with me. I'm still out every night till 2 or 3 o'clock. And nightclubs are a key because the guy that'll spend 5, 10,000 on bottle service, you can convert to risking that. And I tell him he might win, and then I'll comp those bottles of Sky Vodka that are $10. So I have this network of reps that are licensed, work on commission. And we all have players in Canada and London and Europe and Uruguay and Australia and all over. And we have guys that speak Korean and Vietnamese and, of course, Mandarin. And we send them to Macau. And it's almost like a multi-level pyramid. But we need someone in iGaming to reach out to us. And instead of just sending emails, we are slower, but we really know our players. We're going to give you a smaller quality, but wonderful players that can afford to gamble. And then if you reward them when they play online, but hey, now I'm sending you to Vegas. I have a few of that in Europe where when the Super Bowl was in Las Vegas 2 years ago, I had people that were losing six figures in iGaming a year, but they're not hosting in Vegas. I know they're going to bring 10 or 20 grand. I still make commission. So that iGaming company got to use me. I do that also with MSC Cruise Line. There are people that only want to cruise. I get it. But every now and then they want to come to a brick and mortar in Vegas. I use them. They use me. Then I can give my customer free cruises. So I think what I bring to the table is a little old school approach, but a market that iGaming is not tapping into. If that
Hmm.
comes full circle, where
Yeah.
again, there's hundreds of us. If we just give you 10 or 20 players a year, and my meat market, I average 200 reps at every one. We meet at casinos. The casinos give us food and drink, and we interact with each other. Maybe you've got a player, but you know what? He can't win at Resorts World or Fontainebleau. He needs a new place. But you don't rep Caesar's Palace. Well, I do. And now I know the guy lives in Mississippi. I can get him a deal with that property also. Or he wants to go down to the Baja Mar because he lives in New York and he's freezing his tail off. I'll put him
Hmm.
down to Baja Mar, and we all earn wherever he goes.
Hmm.
Right? I mean,
Hmm.
we earn when a guy goes to a nightclub, a strip club, when he buys show tickets. I'm earning everything that he does in Las Vegas. Now, that took me 38, actually 40 years to combine. So now my group of merrymen, we want to expand to iGaming. And we need some aggressive people that will listen to what we have to offer. That's why I'm really looking forward to our workshop, because I'll be able to really work with them.
Awesome, awesome. And this is exactly segueing into my next question is around the that iGaming piece. When we talked before, you mentioned that you know, a lot of your work is leaning more and more into iGaming. So, I mean, you've built a lot of your career around understanding the psychology and the motivations and behaviors of high rollers. So, in your experience, what can today's these digital first casinos and iGaming operators learn from your approach in cultivating loyalty among these players, especially
Great,
with the digital first mindset?
great question. And I've had some iGamers come, and I call them focus groups. It's really
Mm-hmm.
a drink fest with players, and I usually have about 15 to 20, uh, and most of them are like 10 to $20,000 line players. Average age, I'd say, is early 30s. And we ask them, why don't you play online? And you know what they say? One, I'm not sure if I trust it. Now, if I tell them, hey, I work for this company, I know it's real, you're going to get paid, it's legal. There's so many wild, wild west. I think a lot of them also express concerns. Is this a site that's going to get shut down? You know, remember, all of them have to post money. Okay. In my world, 90% of my players play on credit. There are ways that we can issue credit legally in other countries. In Canada, we're actually doing this at a company called Marker Tracks, which I'm going to also present in my keynote speech, and I'll talk to them. I'm very involved with it. Okay. And that is the first legal sports credit device in America, where you don't need a illegal bookmaker anymore. You can bet on a credit line. If you win the bet, it pays back what you borrowed. If you lose, you have 30 days to pay with no interest, and you can use your debit card. And that's going to be in Canada soon, too. So again, just there's other ways to work around. So you make that customer that I have feel comfortable that yes,
Mm-hmm.
he can get a little credit. Yes, it's on the square. And he wants more, believe it or not, than just an email with free play. It's about that relationship. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
about what am I getting for gambling? Now, there is, Gabrielle, for sure, that customer that just wants to play in his pajamas. He doesn't want to go out. And you know what? That's not my guy.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
sure I'm making the number up, but I'm sure that's 70% of the iGamers, right?
yeah.
They don't want that social interaction. I'm not sure of that stat, but the 30% that do, I'm going to teach them tricks to really make them part of the family. It's just like a guy, a lot of players and hosts struggle that you live in Missouri or you live in Mississippi and you play at Caesar's Rewards. So when you come to Las Vegas, you'd like to stay at Wynn, but you're a Caesar's Reward guy, so you're locked in and you don't want to start over, right? So you stay at Caesar's. I have companies now, and we actually know what your Caesar rewards are, and we match that, but we're not taking a shot on you. So now I can
Mm-hmm.
put you
Mm-hmm.
at Win at the level that you're used to. So those are just
Mm-hmm.
some tricks I've learned the last 38 years that I'd love to share.
Amazing, amazing. A big thing with the operators in Europe and IGX has been that their acquisition has always been really high and then their retention is lower, right? And what they're really trying to do is figure out how to just attract the people that are going to stick and not all the people that play once and then leave, right? So what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes you see casinos and iGaming operators make when they're trying to, you know, just attract the people that are going to stick and not spend all this money attracting people that aren't going to stick?
Well, even in land based, we go through that too. When we have a match player or something to get them started, and then we give them a free beer, and then all of a sudden they're tipping the bartenders and to give them more coupons. You know, again, that level, I'm definitely not the expert in. My more expertise is once you get that guy that did your match play or you did a bonus, you know, you put up 500, gave him 500, how do you keep him? Believe it or not, 30 years ago, I set up a lot of telemarketing rooms. And about 12 to 15 years ago, most of the casinos shut them all down. Now they're asking me to open them again. We're getting back on the phone, believe it or not. And I've got some funny tricks on how we send customers cell phones in a FedEx bag. Actually, I'm sending one out today. This will have a burner phone in it with a letter that says, "Hey, you must be in the witness protection program. I've been trying to get you back over to the Win. I've included my number on this phone, and it's $30. I buy a burner phone, and I have just only my contact in it. Okay, I'm going to send out like 140 of these. I know that sounds like a dumb little stupid trick. Swear to God, Gabriella, it works so good.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
so I know, and it's just a FedEx box. So I have a team that calls and says, "Is Gabriella going to be in the office on Thursday?" Great, thank you. And that's all they need to know. And then we do a 10 a.m. and they get the FedEx with my letter. If you can sneak away from your handlers, give me a call because I've got 10,000 reasons for you to see me because I've got that in promo chips for him. And then I tell you, Gabrielle, I want this to be about our relationship. You got another friend, bring him. I'm going to comp him too. That's why your iGamers, they're missing it. They don't partner with online somewhere. Even in London, partner with the Hippodrome. Give the guy a dinner. Make him feel he's getting something that he can brag to his friends that he's not getting. Oh, yeah, I get free play and all that. That's not my customer. I want the loyal customer. And I think a lot of iGamers don't get them the specifics. What I mean about that is if you book with Steve Cyr, hey, you're playing blackjack. Can I split aces 4 times? Can I double down on any 2 cards? Can I ask for a reshuffle anytime I want? Okay, a lot of your programs on iGaming, that's it. Nope, you can only split aces once. You can only double down on 10 and 11. No, we don't offer surrender. I get into, and I almost have like a contract with players. I was a Larry Flint's host for decades. Okay, when Larry wanted to, a million different rules, which of course cut down the house advantage, but then I wouldn't give him this promo unless his average bet was 50,000 for 4 hours. I give the promo after you've proven to me you're a real player, not the guy that just does the match play. I put up 200, give me 200. That's not what I'm marketing. I'm marketing the guy that wants really up here benefits and rules, and I'll give it to him when he shows me he's a player. And the nice thing is because I really know my players and my team knows their players, I have that rapport to kind of get on him a little bit and say, I'm going to do this for you, but you've got to do this. I don't want you playing over here. I want you playing with me. I need 4 hours a day, So I'm kind of rambling, but we just have a little bit different method to our madness than the iGamer, which again, they're wonderful and they do the masses and, they can, I don't know, hit 10,000 emails in a day. That takes us a long time, but I got 70 guys, if they talk to 10 players a day, we're talking to 700 players a day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I'm really excited for your workshop and for you to share some of
You
that
like this, huh?
I think that's so cool.
See, now that's one secret I
I
just
love
gave
that
away for free. Okay,
everyone loves that kind of character element to the experience for sure. I think that sounds so cool. I mean, I think these are
my partner Leela is going to be like, "Why did you tell him about the FedEx trick? That's one of our best tricks."
That's so cool though. So I mean, these are some of the reasons, I guess, why you're featured in some major media. And I think you were on the Discovery Channel, and you're.
I mean, don't get sick. Okay, so the book came out, right? And do you ever watch Seinfeld? I know probably not. It's a TV show. You ever watch Seinfeld?
I'm not that young. I have seen Seinfeld.
Okay, so on Seinfeld, Elaine's boss, Mr. Peterman, John O'Hurley, I'm his casino host. So I call him Peterman. We're drunk in 2002, and my daughter, bless her heart, when she was 7 or 8, said, "Dad, you love to tell stories about, I put on a room service captain's jacket, and I had 100,000 cash that Baron Hilton gave me to get Larry Flint, and I snuck up the room service elevator, and I got him, and my first leads, I went dumpster diving as a telemarketer and got leads out of the trash, and it's all in the book." So she's like, "You should write some stories." So I did, and my grammar's poor, but I wrote them out and I mailed it to Random House and got nothing. And I called the original book From Salina to Caesars. I'm from Salina, Kansas. My first job was Caesar's Palace. And John O'Hurley read it and he's kind of drunk. He goes, "What do you call your big gamblers?" I go, "Whales." He goes, "Put a whale's fin going through the desert instead of water with the Vegas skyline. Call it Whale Hunt in the Desert." Boom. Next thing you know, I'm on Piers Morgan, Montel Williams twice, ABC 2020 with Elizabeth Vargas. Discovery Channel did 12 series on me called Casino Diaries. Explode. Changed my life because John O'Hurley was drunk and said, "Call it Whale Hunt in the Desert." And it's really
so
changed my life. So, I love the publicity. It's fun. I still have a lot of energy in me. I feel like now I'm kind of retired. I get paid to go to Super Bowls with people. And I have one customer, as long as he risks $1 million 1 month, I take him anywhere in the world he wants to go. I don't, the casinos pay for it. On his 75th birthday, he wanted to go whitewater rafting. I thought we were going to die. I mean, we had these canoes by us. I had one customer that said, I want to go to Greece. I want a 200-foot yacht. And every day I want to go to a new topless beach. And we did that for 2 weeks because he risked $1 million every other month. So again, I'm not the best role model. I've been fired a few times, but I'm definitely aggressive, and my team is aggressive. Okay, and now I surround myself with the computer people, and that's why I really think I can help your iGaming conference. I'm super excited when you reached out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, the sports betting scene and online sports betting in Europe has always been huge. These guys are obviously
Yeah.
massive, massive football fans. Being an American living in the UK, I have to tell you, if you go to sports games in the UK and in Europe, it is a lot rowdier than in the US. You go to
Really?
I go watch baseball in New York, and everyone is so quiet and polite, and nobody fights. And it's different. It's different. There's a lot, I think, when it comes to sports here, and even those online sports betting operators, it's about the omni-channel experience, and they do a lot of, even for the online players, all of that in-person VIP treatment is now even more important. And especially with, things like TikTok and streamers and stuff like that, being able to treat those high rollers, even just that are only even playing online and have never gone to a casino, but treating them to those kinds of experiences, even though they're an online player, is becoming really huge here. So I guess, what are some of the, I suppose, most surprising lessons that you learned, or experiences that you think that these hosts and online operators that are just starting to get into these VIP experiences for these young streamers and nouveau riche types, what are the most important lessons you learned that they should also think about?
You just said a really interesting point. I've trained hundreds of hosts. 6 of them that I work with at the Hard Rock and Mandalay Bay, DraftKings has hired now. DraftKings is illegal in the state of Nevada, but of course, sports betting is crazy. Again, when I started, you could only bet sports in New Jersey or Nevada. And now, it's growing like wildfire. And it's interesting that my friends that work for DraftKings said that what you just said, that Steve, he goes, they've got players that are losing 10, 20,000 a month, and they don't even invite, and they live in Dallas. They don't even take them to the Dallas Cowboy game. So that's really surprising. I was like, no way. And he goes, it's so easy. This is host 101, and we know what the guy bets. He's already proven he's a player, but they don't reach out. So what does that sports guy do? He hops around to a million different sites that'll give him a better deal. It's not about the relationship. So that's one thing I've learned, is that I think just with technology, a lot of hosts now only send an email. They don't pick up the phone and call. I have players where I make my host go to LA, it's his birthday, and surprise them, that little extra mile. And what I really find is the iGamers, they don't hire the right kind of people. They'll hire their VIP services, but they're more tech people than people persons. And so I've tried to consult them and sit with their HR people and say, you're looking in the wrong channels. I'd rather that you go hire the best car salesman, because that's what we are. We're salesmen. A lot of player development executives don't want to say, no, we're salesmen. We're selling a product. It's gaming. I've got to make sure, one, I keep you in line and don't burn you out. That I can't stress that enough, not just because I have a license, but just because I think that they just go to the masses. And again, that business model is not going to last. So I have learned to one, really be patient with the people, and be patient how you get your players. But I think you can just build the database again if you have a network and have a really good commission program. Just like insurance people, that you've got to hire the right people and have the right commission program to really keep that retention. And you've got to put marketing money. I'm not talking about billboards and Facebook ads. I'm talking about in the trenches on the ground. So
Hmm.
obviously they know where most of their players play. They know what days they play, so they need to contact them. And I would have parties in the different hotspot areas where they have players around Europe. That's the first thing I'd do.
Hmm. Hmm. No, absolutely. And I don't want to give too much away to your keynote and your workshop.
Okay.
But I know you're keen to tailor it for those who sign up. So if you are signing up to Steve's workshop, you're going to get a couple questions from him so he can kind of tailor that content and understand what kind of challenges you're looking to solve at the moment, or and maybe a bit more on your current structure and all this kind of stuff. So,
And
but I.
Gabriella, I respect that you can't give me their info, but I would like to say to them, if they want to go on stevecyr.com,
Mhm.
we've got the whole month of May, right, and part of June before I'm going to be in London. Reach out to me, okay? Leela, my partner, will set up a time where we can talk on the phone or we can Zoom like this. I would love to pick their brain, and then during the workshop tailor some things for them. Okay. On my team, I have an expert from Germany that helped build 888 Poker. Okay. On my team, I have another couple guys, I can't say where they work, that can really give me good insight. So if I know the problem, your area, or if you have something that you really like to work on, I'll come prepared in the workshop and really try to give you some answers. One, it helps me
Amazing.
too.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it. But I guess as a bit of a teaser, for the many casinos and iGaming operators who are going to attend IGX, what do you want them to walk away with from your keynote and workshop? What do you think they'll learn? What are they looking to walk away with? Why should they sign
I,
up right now?
I hope that they walk away with, wow, some of these old school rules that this guy was doing in the 80s and 90s are now relevant again. Okay. Again, the phone call, mail actually works again. Sending them gifts actually works again. I mean, like my little FedEx trick. I hope they walk away with, yeah, I am going to spend more money on this new group of hosts, we'll call it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to marry players to us. My company's called ISC Consulting. Other than being broke, I lose very few players. Okay, once they get in the ISC little circle and we know all the little extras we're going to do. Oh, you want to go to Santana? Not only are you going to go, you're going to be backstage and get a signed guitar. I just had a guy that his 16-year-old is playing tennis. I had Andre Agassi give him a tennis lesson. Yeah, that's extreme and a one-off, but that's the detail that we get into because we know the guy's worth it. I can show you what it's worth. That's how we earn. So iGamers have more critical information than me. Maybe not what his wife likes wine at dinner, okay, but they know when he plays, how much he plays, what he's comfortable depositing, and then I'm going to show them ways where they can really find out almost like an asset search, his net worth. Now you can really go after him and target the right people. So I'm going to
Hmm.
help them too, not waste time on the wrong people.
Exactly.
I'd love to know from these iGamers marketing projects that have really worked and ones that have really failed, if they would share those numbers, or at least, in a broad scope.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I don't want to give too much away. We're gonna be, if you're watching this, you're gonna see a few bits of promotion here and there. You're gonna see an invitation from me personally, to attend Steve's workshop. And as he
And a
said, you can
free
also.
book for the workshop people.
Exactly, exactly. Also, free book, which I'm gonna make sure Steve signs them all. I'm reading the book. Some guys on our advisory board actually have read the book. And so be sure to pick one up if you go to the workshop. But we're really looking forward to having you. Very grateful that you're gonna come all the way over from Vegas. And I know it's going to be a really great keynote, great workshop. I can tell also going to be very entertaining, I'm sure. And it's going to be really fun. We're really looking forward to having you. So if you're interested in attending Steve's workshop, feel free to comment on any of these posts, and my team will get in touch with you. You'll also see some emails promoting and a few more posts online with the link to sign up. The workshop is going to be on the 18th, and Steve is going to give his keynote on the 17th of June, 2026, at the Hilton Scion Park in Richmond, in the UK. I promise the weather's going to be amazing. I know in the UK we have some weather issues, but the weather is going to be great, and it's at a wonderful location, and we're looking forward to seeing you there, Steve.
Thank you. And again, www.stevecyr.com. If you want to reach out before the conference, or maybe have someone on your team reach out, I realize these are high executives and they're busy. I'd love to talk shop, so I'm more prepared and can give you the best workshop possible.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve.